Welcome to the ultimate Springbok 15 for 2022. This episode is going to be the Scrumhalfs. And Andre let me know in a panic this morning. There are so many of them. Who should I look at and who should I ignore? And we decided on a couple of the top names there. So, firstly, welcome back, Andre.
Thanks, Emily. Great to be back and look forward to this one. It was a lot to get through. So many quality nines, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, we decided on a couple of names. We whittled down a few of the many, many options. No wonder Rassi picked four Scrumhalfs for the World Cup because there were just so many of them. Before we get to the actual episode, remember to hit subscribe, become a subscriber. We're aiming to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of June. We're going to need your help for that. So if you do, thank you for that. And Andre, talking about subscribers, we've had some interesting comments again last week on the Flyoff episode.
Always good to have a read there and engage with the subscribers and the people leaving comments. In particular, Mr. Michael Dutton, I think 9484. Great to see new subscribers or people that stumbled upon the podcast and watching the episode and obviously going on to watch the rest of the stuff. So, and he was quite impressed with the way that we're doing the team and the info that he's getting from it. So, welcome, Mr. Dutton, and hopefully we keep you for a very long time.
It's a good point that you're making there. People who stumble upon this video, for example, must realize this is part of a playlist we're doing the entire team. I'm putting the link to the playlist in the bottom and at the description down below. Make sure you go watch all of them. We started at 15, worked through the wings, we worked through the centers. Last week we did the fly-offs. This week we're doing the scrum-offs. So make sure you don't miss any one of those episodes. Now, talking about fly-offs and scrum-offs, you're now a former Springbok fly-off yourself, a World Cup winner, 2007. And you described to us last week how important it is to have a good relationship with your centers. How good or how important is the relationship between a fly-off and a scrum-off in a particular game?
It's probably one of your most important relationships that you are building within a team. It's and the chemistry that they possess is so important in terms of the continuity that you want to create within your attack and your defense sometimes. But I think you get used to someone's voice, you get used to the way that a certain player manages certain situations, and when you get those range of games together, let's say within the box or within your franchise, it just sometimes you're communicating without even talking. There'll be a great carry, and the nine doesn't even need to look up to see that his 10 is going to play flat or that he's going to be calling the ball behind the pod. The call will come anyway, but the nine will set himself a lot earlier just because he's so used to that player making certain calls in certain positions. So the chemistry, the relationship of 9 and 10 is important for team success.
Last week you called the tens or the fly-offs the game drivers. Now, in the Springbok setup, isn't that a bit what the scrum-halves are as well? Who's the actual game driver in a Springbok setup?
I still think it's the 10 for the Springboks in a team with like France. I think the game driver has gone one channel in. They leave a lot of the decision making up to Dupont to drive where they want to play, how they want to play. Whereas with the Springboks, we're a very structured and tactical team, and that's got to come from the 10. And when we do get structured, the nine needs to take control of his area, and within a certain area with kickoff nine, he'll take control of that. So they're more of they're more a tactician than a game driver for me in terms of how quickly we want to play, where we want to play, the direction we want to play, when we want to kick, how we want to kick. Those types of decisions is the decisions that the nine need to make. And that falls under the tactics more than driving the game. So for me, it's a tactical intelligence, a master tactician of sorts.
Right. Tactical intelligence is the word that you're going to be using just now when you talk about criteria. What criteria did we use this week, and what weighting did you give to each of them?
The first one, as you said, is tactical intelligence, and it comes down to the management of your speed of play, the management of your direction of play, and then the management of your kicking game. Those, and we'll talk, there'll be a question about the rugby IQ, and all of these categories you'll need to have good rugby IQ to make good decisions. So it's embedded within these categories and kind of taken for granted again that your nine has got that rugby IQ. On the attack, we're looking at firstly an individual run threat. Has he got the ability to break the line and, like on a clip we'll see later, like Grant Williams against England, to actually go and score and finish it. Now, not all nines have got the top end speed that Williams does. That's why he sometimes doubles up as a wing fuss and certain 7-1 bench situations. But, you know, nines need to be able to keep that core ruck defenders busy, which creates space for the runners on in that midfield, which then in turn creates space for the runners on the outside. And if you're not going to be a threat in those areas, it means that the defense becomes easier. They don't have to look for anything there. They know it's just going to be run, catch, pass for the outside there. And your passing and distribution. Now, it's not purely just the type of pass, because all of the nines wearing a Springbok jersey have got good passes. Some have got better passes, but it comes down to managing those rucks where you're getting a lot of ruck pressure. And you'll see a couple of clips as well where Grant Williams and Kobus Reinach managing ruck pressure, absorbing the ruck, kind of acting as a shield or a blocker, just so they absorb that initial hit, and then they continue to make the pass. So that's part of your pass and distribution. And then your support and running lines, where the good nines in the world, they've got those shortcuts. They run inside balls. I think of Morne van der Berg from the Lions. He's superb with those inside lines. Guys like Blast from the Pass, Saru Pretorius from the Cheetahs, Jano Vermaak from the Lions. They were experts at running those inside lines and kind of poaching tries, if you want to call it that, getting into positions and getting over the try line. So that's going to be important on the attack. And then lastly, on the defense, pure tackles, physicality within the tackles, because we also get our nines in different positions in the line, and sometimes they need to be tackling big runners. And we're lucky where all of our nines have got the ability to do that, some better than others. Positioning, where do you fill in? Do you stay on the blind? Do you stay behind the ruck? Do you check kick space, etc.? And then the last one is that decision. Do I shut on the outside? Do I fix a place where people or where a player has not put himself into, so I fill that space? So that decision making on defense is going to be important.
Okay, just mention the weights for each of these categories.
So for the tactical intelligence, it'll be 40, and for attack and defense, it'll be 30 each.
It's quite different to the other criteria so far. None of the other positions had the criteria weighed so heavily. You know, some of them were more criteria, but some of them less weighty. Why are these so important, so weighty, you know, have such a large weighting?
I think it's the involvement, Envia. It's that the nines and the tens are so involved with, well, the nines more so than the tens, because they're at the source of where everything starts. And within the defense, they're always part of the defense line. It's not like the 10 that goes and defends at the back. So he's not part of defense for long periods of time. So that's why I felt that the attack and defense is pretty much the same, because either side of the ball, your nine is an important piece to that puzzle. And then that tactical intelligence, because that's how it's part of the way that they get this team going and kind of be the trigger for the attack and the defense.